All right, step number 8 in the home buying process. This one is not mandatory, but I would advise from a professional standpoint that you more or less make it a mandatory thing for you, whether you're buying a resale home or new construction. And so step number 8 would be getting a home inspection, right? As a part of the offer that you make with a resale home, you have the ability to ask for what's called a certain number of days in your due diligence period, or your inspection period, as some people like to refer to it as. Now, bear in mind, a home inspection in Georgia is not mandatory. It's not required for the buyer to have one. Lenders typically don't require that a buyer has one. But as I mentioned, you want to make this a mandatory thing for you, because just like you, well, I hope you wouldn't go out and buy a car without test driving it first. You definitely don't want to buy a home without making sure that everything is in order with that particular home. No major defects, no major concerns, no major issues. We want to verify that. Again, even if it's a new construction home, you would be surprised that how many defective items an inspector can find with a new construction home. Remember, the people that are building these homes are human, so it's human error. So we just want to make sure we catch anything and we get it rectified. So step number 8, you get an independent inspector to come out to the home at an agreed and arranged time to do a full inspection. What the inspector is going to do, they're going to check for structural, electrical, plumbing, and they're also going to check your major systems and appliances, right? What inspectors typically don't do, they don't worry so much about cosmetic things like chip paint or scuff paint, things of that nature. They're looking for actual defective items that have an impact on the way the home functions. Once they complete the inspection, a good inspector will always have what's called an inspection report over to you either immediately after the inspection, but no longer than 24 hours after the inspection is done. Any inspector that's going to deliver a report to you later than that, they're eating away at that time in your due diligence period. So ideally, you want an inspector that can get that report to you right away. Once you have that inspection report, you and your realtor, me hopefully, will review that inspection report together, and the first thing we want to do is determine, are there any deal-breaking issues. Example of a deal-breaking issue would be it's a major foundation problem with the home. You're looking at bringing a structural engineer in, and this is going to cost $15,000 to $20,000. That's probably not a problem that we want to deal with, right? Severe water damage, severe termite inspection, some people might say, or mold. These are some things that may be considered deal-breaking issues, right? So if there are none of those, then we move to items that we would like the seller to repair. Keep in mind, in Georgia, all home sales are determined to be as-is sales. So a seller is not necessarily obligated to make any repairs, but as we negotiate in good faith between both parties, typically reasonable requests, we can get those satisfied by a seller. I would never advise, after you get an inspection report, let's say your inspection report is 40 pages, I would never advise you send over that full report and ask the seller to fix everything in it. Typically what you're going to get in that scenario is a seller just saying no, unless it's a new construction home. If it's a new construction home, then by all means, we send over the full report, and the builder/seller will address everything in that report. But if it's a resale home and you're dealing with a private seller, what you may want to do is identify the top 3 to 5 to 7 items that really jump out to you as things that you'd like the seller to address, and then negotiate from there, right? So again, this particular step, now that you're under contract and you're going through the financing process, you want to make it mandatory for yourself to determine that there's no major issues, no deal-breaking issues with the home, and the only way to do that is to have a home inspection. So check me out for the next step in the process. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you're aware when the next video drops. And again, I'm available at any time to chat about any of this stuff in more detail, all right? Talk to you in a bit.